and they think it's going to help them in their debate. Ladies and gentlemen, we're still live on television on Joy Prime and, of course, Joy Learning on the multi-TV D-Box. We're live on radio on Love 99.5 and live on Facebook on LUV 99.5 FM. On Facebook. That's where my joy, my excitement is, because people can drop comments. Tell us how you are enjoying the debate and even where you're enjoying it from. You can even decide to tell us which school you think is going to carry the day. At this point in time, because of the fact that Asante Man are for the motion, I'll call on Nananom to stand on their feet. Nananom, you guys are a bit down today. I don't know what the issue is. It's either you have overeaten or you're hungry or maybe you're tired. But your anthem will kick you and put you into the right frame and the right spirit. So one more time. Nananom. 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 All right, so Collins is ready. He's going to play your school anthem for you. All you need to do is to sing along. But like I always say, sing with joy, pride, vim, and vigor. Collins, if you're ready, please, we are ready.
We are the real Asante Man. We are the children of the King. This is the school of abundance, grace of our God, Asante Man. This is the school of abundance, grace of our God, Asante Man. The seed that was planted in 1954, the seed has been watered, but there's a life that has grown into this graceful we call Asante Man. The seed that was planted in 1954, the seed has been watered, but there's a life that has grown into this graceful we call Asante Man. Serve we will serve one another. Serve we will serve one another.
At this point in time, please put your hands together as we welcome your debaters. And they are twins, ladies and gentlemen. Irene Odro Sapon, Principal Speaker, and Isabella Odro Sapon, who is the supporting speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for us to invite students of Prempeh College to stand on their feet as they also get themselves ready to sing for us their school anthem. Eddie count 4. Eddie count 4. One more time. Eddie count 4. Okay, please, students from Prempeh College, once you're standing on your feet, would ask you to also sing for us your school anthem. Like I said to the previous school, that is Asante Man Senior High School, please sing your school anthem with joy, with pride, and all the energy you can muster. What it does is that, it goes a long way to energize your debaters because it encourages them. It tells them that you're behind them. So Collins, they are ready. So if you are, please let's roll. That was the anthem of Prempeh Bompata. Edikan 4. With your hands still clapping, please let's welcome your debaters. Asante Opuni Frimpong and Ajwa Abwajiwa Kwache, the supporting speaker. All right, so when our lead judge was, talking to us, he made mention of the fact that the time has been increased for the principal speaker from 7 minutes to 10 minutes, for the supporting speaker from 5 minutes to 7 minutes, and the summary will be done in 5 minutes. Like I always say, the debaters, when they mount the podium, will not have the luxury of checking their time to know whether they're within time or have gone beyond time. So we have an accurate timekeeper in the person of King Davis. Please put your hands together for King Davis for me. And so to the debaters, you know the drill already. If you have 2 more minutes to go on your time, he would have let you by. And if your time is entirely up, this is what you hear. The motion for this afternoon is, filth in Ghana should be blamed on the citizenry. Now, Santiman Senior High School, they are for the motion, and Prempeh Bompata, they are against the motion. Madam Chairperson, with your permission, if we are good to go, then the debaters can mount the podium now, grab the microphone, and start the debate. She says, well, she's given the green light. So, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Asante Opuni, put your hands together for Ari Nodro, Principal Speaker at Santiman Senior High School, to start the debate.
Billy Graham once said, and I quote, "When wealth is lost, nothing is lost. When health is lost, something is lost. But when character is lost, all is lost." Unquote. Fitting Graham schools into today's content, and for that matter, the African content, it seems all is gone for us. At the center of the Ghanaian endeavor is character or attitudes which mess our very own development. At the end of the day, the question that lies before us is, should someone be blamed for the attitudes or character which undermines our standards or development? The ever young, wise person, panel of judges, accurate timekeeper, co-debaters, fellow students, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I am Irene Ojo Sapon, proudly representing Santiman Senior High School as the principal speaker to speak boldly in affirmation of the motion, and I quote, "Filth in Ghana should be blamed on the citizenry," unquote. The chair, in order to have a clear understanding on this particular motion and to prevent confusion, permit me to elucidate the key terms that makes up the motion. According to the vocabulary.com, filth is, and I quote, any substance considered as disgustingly foul or unpleasant, unquote. From the Collins Dictionary, it explains blame as to place responsibility on someone or somebody for doing something. And also, the Merriam-Webster Dictionary explains citizenry as the whole body of citizens. Put all together, the motion before the House today is the whole body of citizens should have the responsibility of the unpleasant surroundings in Ghana. Ladies and gentlemen, I am optimistic that my opponents will mount this podium to point out our fingers, particularly the government and other institutions. But trust you, it will be a total fallacy, because this particular motion is delving much into civic irresponsibility. And for that matter, it takes all of us to correct it. The chair, we are arguing that filth in Ghana should be blamed on the citizenry because, one, some Ghanaians in Ghana have less conformity to rules and regulations. The fact is, many Ghanaians, some Ghanaians, have turned out to be strong-headed with regards to the law enforcement. And according to the Criminal Law and Offences Act 1960, the Act 29, Section 296, panel of charges, look up there. It says that throwing rubbish in the street is a crime for which the offender is liable to fine. Well, my opponents might say that they are these enactments, and what we are talking about is the enforcement. With regards to this, the Minister for Sanitation and Water Resources, Dr. Cecilia Abinadapa, on the launch of their National Sanitation Awareness Campaign and also the Gabriel National Sanitation Awareness said that we should, or henceforth, they are going to enforce the sanitation bylaws, and people who will look down on the sanitation laws will be named and shamed. Evidently enough, this year in Ghana, from January up to April alone, a whopping number of 450 people were arrested due to sanitation offenses. This should tell you that the government is working efficiently to ensure a filthless Ghana. And for us to make this a reality, it takes all of us to conform to rules and regulations. To my second point, the chair, sabotaging of government's effort by the citizenry. The chair, some citizens have made conscious effort to sabotage and to render the effort of the government to ensure filthless Ghana useless. To illustrate this, the chair, this is the picture on the technical team, the second one. Now, we see two bins there, a big one and a small one. The chair, the surrounding around the bin is filled with a pile of filth. So instead of the civilians to put their filth inside the dustbin, they've chosen not to do so, rather to litter the environment. So these inactions of the civilians, my opponents want you to believe that it is the doing of the government. How is this possible? The chair, in order to convince you with regards to this sabotage, people, I mean the people who engage in this, when they are caught or they are asked, they often return in the account language, and I'll quote. Literally, they mean to say that if they don't litter around, the Zoom lion will not be seen working. And for that matter, they litter around for the Zoom lion to work. And this is totally what we call immorality. To my third point, the chair, lack of proper training and moral guidance. Morality begins right from the home. And for a person to be morally upright, it takes upholding of the moral sense and conformity to rules and regulations. Madam Jackson, I don't know, but I'm asking, why should the innocent government be blamed for our inactions? Because you cannot expect to build a house without washroom or toilet and expect the menace of defecating around to vanish simply. As a matter of fact, you cannot expect to urinate or defecate in water bodies and as a result get healthy drinking water. It is impossible. You cannot enthusiastically sit down, spray the immediate environment with urine, and as a result want a sense of fresh air. It is never possible. These are the actions of the citizens, and for that matter, in order to deal with these, we have to deal with these citizens, not the government. The chair, I present to you a footage from myjoyonline.com. Now, this is how some parents have allowed their wards to defecate. The question is, what will become of these children who don't have a proper moral upbringing? With regards to sanitation, are we safe? My opponents want you to believe that the government is responsible for these, but morality begins right from the home. And for that matter, we shouldn't blame the government. To my fourth point, the chair, disappearance of dustbins is one reason why we can never blame any other person but the citizenry for the lack or the filth in our country. My opponents might have said that there are not enough dustbins, and for that matter, sanitation is poor in our country. But I will interest you to know that in 2018 alone, the government distributed over 1 million dustbins. Now, if we turn back to church, at the vantage point where these dustbins were planted, how many of them do we see? The chair, these dustbins with the inscription, "Keep Ghana Clean," have been sent to the scrapyard of various people, citizens reselling it to various citizens. What they are doing, my opponents are saying it is not the act of the citizen. Rather, my dear, who is causing this? Is it the government who sold the dustbins? It is definitely not. We can never blame any other institution for what the government has been doing and what the people are doing. Now, my last but not least point, the chair, we can never talk of filth in Ghana and leave ignorance. Ignorance is one of the deadliest or evil deeds that leads to hindrance. My opponents might have said that there is lack of education and all those stuff, but in the year 2022, the illiteracy rate of Ghana stood at 83.2%. The chair, right from basic education, we are giving the public education not to litter around. people tend to be ignorant and, for that matter, still later around. The chair, we cannot blame this on the government. The government, through the environmental sanitation policy by the NGO and the hashtag Keep Ghana Clean by the NABMO, is trying its possible best to eradicate the filthy environment. But the doing of the citizen is blocking it. My opponents do not regard negligence for conformity. My opponents might assert on the fact that we came to this auditorium and the auditorium is very neat. Yes, this should tell you that people, when under instruction or guidance, when they are looked over, they try to conform to rules and regulations. But we should also bear in mind that the government cannot serve as a watchdog in our homes, in our bedrooms, on our streets. The government cannot be policing our lives. And for that matter, if we are not ensuring sanity when we are over there, we can't come here to tell us that because people are here and they are ensuring that we do things right. That is the lack, or what we call it, the supervision aspect. That is never true. People tend to fear when they know there is punishment regarding it, and the government is trying its best to ensure that we live a clean environment. And for this matter, I believe that the citizens should be blamed for the filthy environment in Ghana, because everything happening here in Ghana is the doing of ourselves. No one from nowhere came to do it for us. We did it ourselves, and for that matter, we should be blamed for the actions or the consequences involved. The chair, the House, thank you.
Well, her name is Irene Odro-Sapong, Principal Speaker representing Asentiman Senior High School. This tells you that we began the debate for the third place contest for the 2023 edition of the LUV FM High School Debate. At this point in time, we'll go to Presec Bompata and welcome their Principal Speaker to also start the debate for their school. His name is Asante Opunifrimpong. Please, a round of applause for him.
Hello. Couple of years back, Rwanda, like many African countries, was dominated with filth. But now, all the story has changed to this. Thanks be to good policies. Now, Rwanda has been transformed to the cleanest city in the whole Africa, the Singapore of Africa, all thanks to good policy and strict charters being put in place. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is not about really the citizens, but it is about good and sound policies and workable structures when put in place will help solve this problem. So it is in light of this that I stand here boldly to say that citizens should not be blamed for filth here in our country. A sweet good afternoon to the Executive Chair, wise and impartial panel of jury, on point timekeeper, organizers of LUV FM High School Debate, co-debaters, our protocol duly observed. Ladies and gentlemen, proud I am to be called Asante Opunifrimpong, the Principal Speaker of Presbyterian Senior High School, Bompata, the Chair. The motion before this guest houses, and I quote and unquote, filth in Ghana should be blamed on the citizenry, which I rise vehemently against the motion. The Chair, before I embark on my quest, I would like to expatiate some key terms in this motion for the benefit of my good, lovely audience. According to Oxford Learners Dictionary, it defines filth as a disgusting death. Cambridge Dictionary defines blame as responsible for something bad happening. According to Collins Dictionary, it defines citizenry as people living in a country, state, or city. So the Chair, the motion therefore simply seeks to posit that citizens should be blamed for the death in our country, which I rise vehemently against. Ladies and gentlemen, we all know that the issue of waste is a multifaceted dimensional problem that involves so many actors such as the citizens, institutions, legislation, policies. So it would therefore be unfair to single out one actor and take all this blame. It is of this that I write boldly to present my underpinning argument as to why citizens should not be blamed for the filth in our country, as and when needed. Exhibits and videos should be tendered in to back our claims. The Chair, our premium point against the said motion is that citizens should not be blamed because the power to formulate and implement sanitation policies reside on the Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources. Ladies and gentlemen, the mission statement of the ministry regarding sanitation is to formulate and implement policies, plans, and programs for a provision of an environmental facilities, effective and a sustainable management of liquid and solid waste for the well-being of the people. So in light of this, if the ministry failed to do this, it makes it a necessity to blame the ministry but not the citizens. So if things are not going well in our country, why then should we go blaming the citizens while they know nothing? This ministry is in charge of this. So why shouldn't we go blaming them? Because they have been given that power to maintain a proper sanitation in our community. So it is a necessity to blame the ministry and not the citizens. To my second point, the chair, inadequate monitoring and enforcement mechanism by mandated bodies have allowed negligent actors to go unpunished. Ladies and gentlemen, even though the Constitution has mandated the Office of the Attorney General to enforce the Criminal Offences Act 1960 at 29, Section 296, it has lived and it has failed to live up to its expectation. The chair, most governments lack the political will to hold polluting entities accountable, hence contribute to the degradation of our environment. Speaking to the city newsroom, the Executive Secretary of Environmental Service Providers Association, Ama Ofori Entry, urged the government to empower local authorities to enforce bylaw on sanitation. So hence the chair, the problem of filth is not the citizens, but rather an institutional failure. To my third point, the chair, another institution that should be blamed is the private sector in sanitation management. Ladies and gentlemen, according to 1999 environmental sanitation policy of the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, it states that, and I quote and unquote, the bulk of the environmental sanitation service shall be provided by the private sector, including the NGOs and community-based organization under the supervision of public sector. The chair, this policy does not recognize citizens to be responsible for filth here in our country. So why the need of blaming them? It is for this reason that the government employed the services of the Zoom Lion in the 2000s to clean the filth in our public spaces. The chair, the former Minister for Sanitation and Water Resources, Honorable Kofi Ada, blames the sanitation service providers for the filth that has damaged our country. For clear arguments and development, please, let's watch this video.
Today, being in Gulf Reform and finding solid waste everywhere, I feel a little disappointed. And if you were to ask me, why is this state so, I will put the blame squarely on Zoom Lion.
To my beautiful ladies, if the former minister is blaming this sanitation problem on the Zoom Lion, then why the need of blaming it on the citizens? To my fourth point, the chair, citizens pay for sanitation and pollution heavy, and therefore they should not be blamed for the filth they generate. Ladies and gentlemen, citizens pay for sanitation services such as infrastructure development, maintenance, refuse collection, and many more through taxation. To my lovely organizers, you will bear with me that in 2021, the government imposed a sanitation and pollution levy of 10% on every liter of petrol and diesel purchase, with the promise of ensuring a quality and a sustainable sanitation management. According to the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, after 15 months of the levy introduction, 196.5 million Ghana cedis was the revenue generated. Now, the question is, what has happened to this money? If the citizens are able to pay such an amount of money, then why then should we go blaming them? To my last and favorite point, the chair, the filth menace should be blamed on bribery, corruption, and misappropriation of public funds by the state institution. Ladies and gentlemen, Article 252 Clause 3 of the 1992 Constitution does not permit the allocation of district assemblies common fund to private entities. But now, the Auditor General 20 report indicted Sewerage System Ghana Limited for using 95 million Ghana cedis of public funds to construct a waste treatment plant, which is owned by a private entity. In 2015, just one company was awarded a $74 million sole source contract to supply waste bins and bins liners at inflated prices. So the chair, it is even funny how this these public funds are being abused with the mind of intending to deal with sanitations. So why then should we turn around and go blaming the citizens while they know nothing about this? Ladies and gentlemen, my opponent mounted this podium telling us that citizens have failed to abide by the laws and regulation. By my opponent, citizens, this is shared discrimination, the chair. Citizens should not be bounded by workable laws and regulation. With this in place, they are sure to follow suit. The chair, if a Ghanaian travels to Europe and is able to change his mentality towards waste management overnight, then this should even tell you something. Also, my opponents asserted that citizens are ignorant. This is a total distortion of facts, the chair. Why should you blame the citizenry for that? We should rather blame the authorities who are mandated to educate the public on waste management. Also, my opponents were talking, they showed a picture of children defecating on the roadside. But the problem here is that if these lawmakers or if this law enforcement are able to enforce their laws and regulations very well, I'm not sure like these children who will be on the roadside defecating there. So it is of a clear evidence that these children there defecating on the roadside, there is no law enforcement by our law enforcement agencies. So we should go and blame them, but not the citizens. Also, my opponents were saying something that government provides over 10,000 bins. But here lies the case that when these bins are being created and there is no law enforcement, how will the citizens also comply? So the problem here is that, ladies and gentlemen, if these bins are being provided, then the government should ensure strict measures so that it will help keep this situation and it will help solve the situation of filth here in our country. It is in light of this that I call all and sundry to rally behind me, kick against this said motion. Ladies and gentlemen, my submissions are clear.
And one thing I always say is that I would never ever want to spend my afternoon anywhere else than to be a part of the Love FM High School debate, because you get to get a lot of information and a lot of education. Initially, you heard from Irene Odro-Sapong, Principal Speaker for Asanteman. You just heard Asante opening from Pong. He's the Principal Speaker for Prempeh College. Please put your hands together for them for me. Shortly, you'll be hearing from the supporting speakers, and they are Isabella Odro-Sapong for Asanteman and Ajua Abuajua Kwache, supporting speaker for Prempeh College. As you listen to us on radio, tell friends about the Love FM High School debate, which of course is on. If you're watching us on television on Joy Prime or Joy Learning, we're excited to have you do the viewing. And of course, if you're watching us on Facebook, you know the drill already. Drop some comments. Let's reach out to those comments and share them with the rest of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, please, with a round of applause, welcome Isabella Odro-Sapong, supporting speaker for Asanteman, to continue with their debate.
My opponent said lack of good policy should be blamed for the filth in Ghana. Wow. My dear, if you clearly listen to my principal speaker, she made it clear that the Ghana Criminal Offences Act 1960, Article 229, Section 296, says that throwing rubbish in the street is a crime for which any offender who is found will be liable for it. Ladies and gentlemen, what we need to know is the growing of filth in the country is not only an indictment on us, but a threat to our health and lives in general. That is why it is a must for us to be responsible for what we do, so that we can correct what is going on wrong in our various societies. For today, the chair, it is said, is to be done. Therefore, Vice Chair, sagacious panel of judges, accurate timekeeper, debaters, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. From the land of Asanteman, I am Isabella Odro-Sapong, the supporting speaker, affirming the motion, and I quote, filth in Ghana should be blamed on the citizenry, unquote. The chair, my principal speaker, has spent time elaborating on the key terms to the House, and so permit me to proceed with my argument. But before then, ladies and gentlemen, as my principal speaker has stated,